that have been found guilty of anything?
Yes, lots of them.
Lots of them.
Me included.
You included. Okay, so when you were called here to testify, you weren't called here to testify for any other reason than to tell the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Now, we started this whole sham off because of the 1023.
You know what's wild? We've got people who swore to tell the truth under oath, but the only truth they seem to believe in is their own. Today, we watched Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett tear through a hearing that looked more like an episode of The Apprentice than a real investigation. While Republicans are busy chasing Hunter Biden and parroting Trump's talking points, the real story is who's actually funding the circus and why. If you care about honesty, accountability, and protecting this democracy from political theater, you need to hear this.
All right, Mr. Giuliani, I just want one last question. I'm going to show you a draft email that you provided to the committee. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Objection on time. Good job. Chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett for 1 minute, or 5 minutes.
1 minute. All right. First of all, Mr. Bobulinski, do you know who Elections LLC is? Yeah.
Mike.
Well, it's not a who.
Okay. Well, do you know what it is?
Yes, it's a LLC.
Okay. And is it the LLC that your attorney works for?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so. Okay. So at this point in time, I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a document indicating that the law firm representing Tony Bobulinski was paid $10,000 as recently as January of this year by the Save America PAC, which you may recognize as Donald Trump's PAC.
Without objection.
Thank you. Now, so far in this hearing, it has felt like the worst episode of The Apprentice. I'm sure you're familiar with that show. It seems like my colleagues and maybe you and some others are trying to become the next vice president of the United States of America. You're auditioning or something like that because, Mr. Bobulinski, I know that you take exception to the fact that your credibility has been called into question over and over. But when someone comes to testify under oath, whether it's before this committee, behind closed doors, or in person, then we have to evaluate someone's credibility. And sir, I definitely have always had issues with your credibility, as I know that you are very well aware of. So let me remind you of what happened behind closed doors.
Well, you should ask Ro Khanna about my credibility.
I haven't asked you a question. Okay?
You are?
When I haven't. So when I
okay,
ask
I'm
you a
sorry.
question, that's when you answer. Otherwise, I'm talking. So,
Excuse me?
with my time, because it's my time, I want to be clear that when we were behind closed doors, you called a number of people liars. You called the Wall Street Journal liars. You called Cassidy Hutchinson a liar. You called the FBI a liar. You called Rob Walker a liar. You called James Gilliar a liar. You called Hunter Biden a liar. You called Jim Biden a liar. And just today, you added to your list, you called my colleague, Congressman Mr. Goldman, a liar as well. It seems like, according to you, the only person that's telling the truth is you and everyone else is lying. But I want to move on to something else.
Is that a question?
It's not a question.
Okay.
You'll know when I ask you a question, I promise.
Thank you.
So the other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that my colleague from the other side of the aisle talked about the company that we keep. And she wanted to go through a list of people that she felt like were bad company because right now the majority has been relying upon the testimony of someone who's currently sitting in federal prison. And we know that your company is the company of somebody who's been found liable of fraud, as well as defamation, as well as sexual assault, and for whatever reason can't pay his bills at this point in time. But I'm going to ask Mr. Parnas, so this is a question to him. Are you aware if Trump had any associates that have been found guilty of anything?
Yes, lots of them.
Lots of them.
Me included.
You included. Okay, so when you were called here to testify, you weren't called here to testify for any other reason than to tell the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Now, we started this whole sham off because of the 1023. And that was debunked by you, was it not?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Way before we started this impeachment inquiry. And you mentioned a number of times this guy by the name of Rudy Giuliani.
Yes.
Now, everybody is so stressed about the fact that Hunter ain't here today. But, Hunter came and testified behind closed doors for over 6 hours. And every single one of them, they weren't limited to 5 minutes. They could ask whatever they wanted to. And there's a full transcript of his testimony. So I don't know what else they wanted to do besides the fact that they wanted to put on a show. But let me tell you something. This whole thing is based upon something that Giuliani came up with.
Yes.
And we tried to subpoena him that's what I remember. If anybody else remembers. We asked, we said, hey, we should subpoena Giuliani. But, kind of like when we were trying to get his cell phone, they shut it down, right? Like, they don't want the facts. But you would agree with me that considering the fact that you were working under Rudy Giuliani at the time that you went over to Ukraine, that he has maybe some valuable information that he could offer this committee as to whether or not there's anything that we should be investigating in the first place.
Absolutely, Congresswoman. I wish that this committee would subpoena Rudy Giuliani, put him under oath alongside me to get to the bottom of the truth of what actually happened in Ukraine and to the manipulation that Trump and Giuliani and the team went to do.
I agree with you, but somehow it doesn't look like we're going to get there, and I thank you for your time. With that, I'll yield.
Time's expired. Chair now recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Galanis, on May 9th, 2014, you received an email from Devin Archer confirming.
When I watched this hearing, I couldn't help but shake my head. What should have been a serious investigation turned into political entertainment, a reality show sequel that nobody asked for. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stood up and did what true patriots do. She demanded accountability, not chaos. She called out Tony Bobulinski, a man whose credibility has been questioned from day one, and revealed that his attorney's firm was paid by Donald Trump's own Save America PAC. Let that sink in. The very people pushing this investigation are tied financially to Trump's political machine. Crockett didn't just stop there. She reminded everyone that Bobulinski has a habit of calling everyone a liar. The FBI, the Wall Street Journal, Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, even members of Congress. The only person he seems to think tells the truth is himself. But Crockett wasn't playing games. She turned the spotlight on the real hypocrisy. The same Republicans claiming moral high ground are cozying up with men found guilty of fraud, defamation, and sexual assault. And when Parnas, yes, Rudy Giuliani's old ally, admitted that he and many of Trump's associates had been convicted of crimes, you could feel the air leave the room. What's truly patriotic is standing up for facts. Crockett reminded us that Hunter Biden already testified for 6 hours behind closed doors. So, why the performance today? Because the GOP doesn't want truth. They want a show. The truth, as Parnas confirmed, is that all this nonsense started with Giuliani's Ukraine scheme, the same disinformation that Trump weaponized years ago.
And you know what?
Crockett was right to say it. If Republicans actually cared about justice, they'd subpoena Rudy Giuliani right now. Put him under oath. Let him explain the lies that sparked this chaos. I love this country, and that's why I refuse to sit quietly while bad actors twist patriotism into propaganda. Real Americans don't fear the truth. We demand it. If you believe that patriotism means honesty, justice, and holding power accountable, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this fight isn't about left or right. It's about protecting the soul of our democracy.